Billionaire Tesla founder Elon Musk announced last week that he will be giving away $1 million every day leading up to the presidential election to voters who sign his Political Action Committee's petition backing the Constitution. Philadelphia's District Attorney Larry Krasner has responded to the question many of us are wondering: is this even legal? The Philly DA filed a lawsuit against Musk, calling his $1 million sweepstakes a, quote, illegal lottery scheme. The lawsuit alleges that America PAC and Musk are lulling Philadelphia citizens and others in the Commonwealth and other swing states in the upcoming election to give their personal identified information and make a political pledge in exchange for the chance to win $1 million. That is a lottery, end quote.
Not everyone agrees that Musk's action crosses the legal threshold. Here to discuss the legalities behind Musk's activity is former Federal Election Commission member Hans von Spakovsky. Hans, thank you so much for joining us. Let's get right into it. I understand that Elon Musk has said there's no purchase necessary to enter this $1 million giveaway. He also has said that it's contingent on signing this petition as opposed to requiring people to register to vote. Do those two caveats protect him legally from the claim that he's running an illegal lottery?
Yes, they do. There's neither a violation of federal law nor a violation of the state law that DA Krasner is citing in his complaint. Look, the federal law on this is very clear, very simple, very straightforward. It makes it a criminal violation of federal law if you offer to pay someone to register to vote. The thing that Elon Musk has set up, his petition, it's very simple, also very straightforward language. He is not offering to pay anyone to register to vote. He is offering them the chance to win the $1 million if they sign a petition supporting the First and Second Amendment. Now, a condition of it is that you be a registered voter, but that does not fit the straightforward language of the statute. And in fact, look, that situation is not much different from, except in terms of scale, something that the two of you know happens all the time in Washington, right? Focus groups that are convened by pollsters and campaigns. They bring in people, registered voters, and they pay them to give them their opinions about the candidate and issues. And a condition of being a member of that focus group and getting paid is to be a registered voter. So if Elon Musk, if he's violated the law, every pollster in Washington has violated the law, and that's just not the case.
Well, pollsters are contractors, and they're usually contracted with a committee, as you know. You're the attorney for the Heritage Foundation, one of the lead authors of Project 2025. I'm curious because there are some other caveats to this. While the FEC has made some updates to the super PAC laws out there, there still is a firewall, and as the FEC says, you are not allowed to do things like phone banking, text messaging, direct mail, and crucial components to a get out to vote effort if you're a super PAC and a campaign. Now, Elon Musk has appeared on stage with Donald Trump, and he has founded this super PAC and given almost $100 million to this super PAC. It seems like there's gross coordination between the two, and the DOJ has issued a statement about this, a warning to Elon Musk about this. My question to you is, if George Soros were doing this, would you be supporting it?
If he was doing this in exactly the same way, yes, because what Elon Musk is doing is not illegal. The question of coordination between a super PAC and a candidate is a totally different issue. And the Federal Election Commission has very strict, also very clear regulations about that. If there is coordination going on, well, yeah, then there's a potential violation of the law, but you have to fit within the standards of the FEC, and that would be a matter for them to investigate. But on this federal statute, which makes it illegal to pay someone to register to vote, there's not a violation of the law. There's also no state violation here. If you look at the complaint that Krasner has filed, he undercuts his own argument in the complaint, which I've read. The law in Pennsylvania is very clear. It's been established by their courts. To be an illegal lottery, there are three elements required. One, there has to be a prize. We've got that. Second, there has to be a random selection. We've got that. But the third and most important part of the test is there has to be consideration paid to participate in the lottery. In other words, you have to buy a ticket. You have to pay money to participate in the lottery. That's not going on here. The law in the state's very clear. Just providing your contact information, that's not consideration. If to participate, folks had to actually pay and buy a ticket, then it would be an illegal lottery, but that's not what's going on here. I will tell you, look, Elon Musk's lawyers, they were very clever. They drafted this very carefully to avoid violating both state law and federal law. And if they took it to court, the prosecutors at both the Justice Department and in Philly, they would lose the case.
To follow up on Nomiki's question about Elon Musk appearing on stage with the Trump campaign and
Right.
campaigning for Trump, can you just go through what would render that an illegal coordination and how that fits into the framework understood by the FEC?
Well, like I said, the regulations are pretty lengthy on this, but they have a whole list of factors that you consider to look at whether an independent political organization, whether it's a super PAC or whatever, is actually talking to campaigns and coordinating their messages. In other words, if they're asking the campaign, well, what would you like me to say in an advertisement? I mean, that's the simplest way, simplest example. If a super PAC is going to a campaign and saying, tell me what you want me to say in a advertisement that we're paying for and putting, well, that would be illegal coordination. But as long as what the super PAC is doing, they're making the decisions on their own. They're not getting advice from, they're not getting recommendations from, they're not getting directives from the candidates, then they haven't violated the law. And that's true whether, it doesn't matter whether it's a Kamala Harris super PAC or a Donald Trump super PAC. Those rules apply to both.
I have to ask you while you're here, Heritage Foundation had this summit earlier this year with Republican, it was a closed door summit with Republican attorneys generals and governors around the country. As you know, you presented there, and it was about how to deal with election integrity. There's reporting out right now that there are individual citizen vigilantes in the South now going to polling sites and challenging folks' registrations, primarily in communities of color, and that some of that has been funded and advised by the Heritage Foundation. What do you say about that?
Well, I have no idea what you're talking about. I run the election reform initiative. I didn't have a meeting with attorney generals and governors to talk about election issues. Everything that I do on the election integrity issue, you can see all the papers that I publish. I'm very public about the recommendations I make. And our whole thrust is to make sure that everyone who is eligible is able to vote, and that their votes are not voided or diluted by fraud, mistakes, and errors and omissions made by election officials.
All right, Dr. Hans von Spakovsky, thank you so much for joining us today on Rising. Appreciate it.
Sure, thanks for having me.